Welcome back. So if you're going to put in a right username but an incorrect password, or the other way around, then you'll actually end up getting back a response right here that pretty much says that there's no token. I just went into preview right here. There's no token, but there's actually a message saying the username and password is incorrect. Let's try and get that message to be presented so the user knows that something went wrong. So what we'll do is we'll dive into the code and just make a simple solution this time, and then next lesson we'll try and figure out how we can do it with an unauthorized exception instead. So let's try and jump in here and say, if we are already in the login component, if we actually have a token and there's also a JWT token, happy days, everything works. Else, we're going to make an else if right here, saying that if there's a token still, but there's not a JWT token, instead there's a message, we're going to save that message locally. So we're going to say this dot, and let's call it error right here, equals token.message. We'll go and change this later, so that's why I'm going to keep the name error instead of message right there. So now we're going to make a local field for this error right here, and we don't want it private because we want to use it inside our HTML. Now we have the error available. Now it says it could be undefined, so let's just go and add that, or undefined. There we go. So now we have the error available right here, and we can now use that error. Now if we get to this point where there is a token, I just want to make sure the error is actually set to undefined, because then everything is a-okay and there's no error available. So now we have this available here in the TypeScript. Let's go into the HTML and see if we can figure out how to present this error if something goes wrong. What we'll do is we'll just add a div, and in that div I'll just add an ngIf, and there I'll add an error. So now I know that this div will not be shown unless there's actually an error available. What else can I do with the error? Well, let's try and see how we can present this error right here. It's actually very simple. We can just put in error like this. And now we'll show the error if there's actually an error available. Let's try and see if this works. I'll jump back to my view right here. I won't update my password. I'll go and I'll say my username, and I'll put in a bad password. I'll log in, and now it should say user or password not correct. Happy days, so that worked. But I want this to be red. So let's just look at CSS while we're here anyway. I'll just add a class right here, and I'll just call it the error, like this. And this, I want this to only for now be for this login HTML file right here. Since I only want this color and this class to be available in there, I'm going to add this to the login component SCSS. Because whenever you want something that's specific for only one HTML file, you might as well just use its CSS that's joined with that HTML file. And you can see that in the component, how they're bound together. We have this component has this HTML and this CSS, like we talked about earlier. So now we have that error in there, and we also have the class for it. All we need to do is kind of just set for now the color. So I'll just set the color right here to be some kind of dark red, and let's just save that and go back. And I don't want to update the password, so I'll do LUL right here again, and I'll say 1234, and there we go. Now we got a username and password incorrect from the backend, and we can add 56 and see that now we can log in again. So happy days. If we log out, the error is gone again, and that's because I made sure that when I log in, I go and clean out that error right there. And also, when I come back, I'm actually going to recreate the component, so it shouldn't be there anyway. But it's always a good idea to clean up. So that's it for this lesson. Now you guys know how you can actually use the message we're getting back from the backend, and then use that message to present it as an error message if something goes wrong. Next lesson, we'll try and dive into making an unauthorized and see how we could use that using the catch error instead. So let's end it right here and see you next time. Bye.